So long as we are studying the interpretations or looking at the house from the outside, the resident of the house will remain unknown. If asked who lives in that house, our best answer would be, I don't know. I have seen the house, but not the person who lives in it. I wouldn't be able to recognize him, and I don't know the real name of this person either. Now this is very similar to standing before a tree and not knowing what tree it is. For us, it will remain a tree that is not recognized, a tree whose name I don't know. The best we can do is call this tree Ochine Gach. The purpose of studying the different interpretations of Ramakrishna is to see how different minds have responded to his life and teachings, and see how our own minds respond to his life and teachings, and how our minds respond to the interpretations of other minds. All of this can help us refine our own understanding, reassess our own conclusions, and help us build a house for Ramakrishna that we feel would best represent him. A house that would make it easier for us to walk in and meet with Ramakrishna face to face. In order for us to do that, the filter of the mind must be cleaned repeatedly and regularly, the way Totapuri cleaned his metal water container. When the filter of the mind becomes transparent, when the crookedness of the mind is eliminated, the mind just melts away. It becomes pure and indistinguishable from the Atman. We enter the house of Ramakrishna and are in his presence. His presence is so powerful that our own presence is soon forgotten. The I disappears, and along with it, space and time. When space disappears, all that remains is here. When time disappears, all that remains is now. The Ochine Gach is no longer Ochine. We recognize it fully now because it has become our own true being. We still cannot name it, but there is no need to do it. In order to name it, we'll have to separate ourselves from it. And the separation would make it unrecognizable again. It will make it unnameable again. What's the point? M's question in the Kathamrita was whether Sri Ramakrishna was hinting at his being avatar by referring to Ochine Gach. M certainly thought so, and in some ways that makes sense. For an avatar is a mysterious being, neither fully human nor fully divine, or fully human and fully divine at the same time. How can such a being be named? Who will be able to recognize a strange being like that? Narendranath, before he became Vivekananda, perhaps expressed it best when Ramakrishna's physician, Dr. Sarkar, expressed his reservation about identifying Ramakrishna as avatar. And this is what Narendra said. We think of him, meaning Ramakrishna, as a person who is like God. Do you know what it is like? There is a point between the vegetable creation and the animal creation where it is very difficult to determine whether a particular thing is a vegetable or an animal. Likewise, there is a stage between the human world and the God world where it is extremely hard to say whether a person is a man or God. I don't say Ramakrishna is God. What I am saying is that he is a God-like man. This is what Narendranath said. Now, years later, after he became Vivekananda, speaking with his disciple Sharatchandra Chakravarti, Swamiji refused to categorize Sri Ramakrishna as avatar. Not because he did not view him as such, but to teach his disciple that labeling Ramakrishna as an avatar would still be a distortion. It still won't be the real name of Ramakrishna. It still would not describe Ramakrishna accurately. The concept of an avatar is still a concept. It is not Ramakrishna's real nature. An avatar is also an interpretation, a brilliantly decorative piece perhaps at the entrance to Ramakrishna's true home. Swamiji said that he believed Ramakrishna to be, and these are his words, even greater than those who are labeled as avatars. And this is what he told his disciple Sharatchandra. To re-establish dharma, there come Mahapurushas, suited to the needs of the times and society. Call them what you will, either Mahapurushas or avatars. It matters very little. They reveal in their lives the ideal. Then by degrees, shapes are molded in their matrices. Men are made. Gradually, sects arise and spread. As time goes on, these sects degenerate and similar reformers come again. This has been the law, flowing in uninterrupted succession like a current down the ages. When Sharat Chandra asked Swamiji why he did not preach Ramakrishna as an avatar, Swamiji responded in this way. These are Swamiji's words, I am quoting him. Truly I tell you, I have understood him very little. He appears to me to have been so great that whenever I have to speak anything of him, I am afraid lest I ignore or explain away the truth, lest my little power does not suffice, lest in trying to extol him, I present his picture by painting him according to my lights and belittle him thereby. We can understand Swamiji's hesitation in applying the label avatar to Sri Ramakrishna, but that description still falls very short of who Sri Ramakrishna really was. It is possible that Ramakrishna asked M about Ochine Gach, not to suggest that he is an avatar, but to remind M that who Ramakrishna was and is would forever remain unknown. Ramakrishna would always remain the Ochine Gach. Any attempt to label him can prove elusive. To know him, we have to be him. To the extent our minds get purified and melt into the being of Ramakrishna, what he truly is would be known in the depths of our hearts. No interpretation is needed there, but every interpretation can help us get there. As Swamiji wrote in his inspired poem, The Hymn to Samadhi, void merged into void, beyond speech and mind, whose heart understands, he verily does. Thank you.